Larry, thank you so much for being here for a second time, and I'm super excited.
Woohoo! I'm excited as well.
I'm pretty sure your episode, do you realize how long ago that episode was? It was last March.
It was?
I looked it up. It does not seem that long ago. It was March of last
Oh,
year.
oh my gosh.
So almost a year ago.
No, almost a year ago. Yeah. Does not feel like that. No, it doesn't.
I bet if you go back and listen to that, you'll realize even just how much has changed in 1 year. You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah. A lot has changed for sure.
I was thinking the other day, because I feel like I've been back to work for almost a month now. I've been back from vacation for 3 weeks, almost 4 weeks. But I remember like in the past like month, I feel like I I don't know if it's about like winter and you're like hunkering down, but I feel like very productive. Like I feel in like a good swing of things where there's not as much social stuff happening. So I think I just feel like I'm getting a lot done. And then I thought to myself, like, why does this year feel so much more productive and different from last year? And I realized like
Mhm.
this time last year, you know what was going on. Like I was so incredibly sad. Like I was in a completely different headspace. And it's
Right,
shocking how much more I can get done when I don't have all of these distractions and like drama and like sadness in my life, you know?
right.
Something to think about,
Yeah. 100%. 100%.
right?
I
Like
am
it's
actually,
amazing what can change.
I am actually not productive.
You're a lot more go with the flow lately.
I'm a hermit right now because I'm going through a detox right now, actually. So it's a little hard for me to like see clients in what is happening right now for me. So
Yeah.
I mean, I've seen clients here and there and deals have gone through here and there, but it's not like I'm the okay, like let's go,
Mhm.
let's get this shit done kind of Larry. Hopefully I'm inspired to do that after this whole detox thing is
Yeah.
done. But I have been more social than ever since
Right.
I got
Well,
back.
remember you are in personal year 3, whereas I'm in personal year 8. Those are very, very
Ooh,
different types of
yes,
years. Like you're in more
yeah,
of the creative, like self-expression year, and I'm in a financial wealth build career year. So that makes
exactly.
sense.
It makes sense. It makes a lot of sense. Yeah. But I also am kind of like going with the flow.
I
You know,
felt
I
that off you because when I asked you to do this, I was like, Frig, I asked him too late, like he's not gonna be able to fit it in. And you're like, I'm available this whole day. And I was like, wait, what? Why?
why? Yeah,
And I thought you were
exactly.
gonna give me like some random hour of like 11 p.m. at night, and I would have been like, I'll make it work. Like this is my problem of like scheduling this too late. But yeah, like you were
No
like, yeah,
way.
I'm more chill. It was shocking to me.
Yeah, really. Yeah, I'm going through some upgrades.
Okay.
So I have to let those upgrades sort of, I guess, do its thing. And then I can like, okay, let's go. Let's go. So I have like a cold, but it's not like a cold. It is a cold, but it's like a
It's
it's
a
like a
detox cold.
detox.
Yeah, yeah.
It's a detox cold.
So what are
So I
you
don't know if I
detoxing?
mentioned
Is it
this,
just
but I
like
have
what you're eating and drinking and
no,
stuff?
okay.
Yeah. What are you doing?
So I don't know if I ever mentioned this, but in 2016, I got this really bad cold because I was working with a fucking bitch that I shouldn't call this person a bitch. It's like one of those bosses where they just run you. You're working like 18-hour days and you're just exhausted all day long, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Eventually my body was like, you can't handle this, and I got this really intense like cold that led up to like pneumonia.
Eee.
And after I recovered from it, I developed asthma.
Oh God.
Yeah. And so I've been on and off with asthma or like wheezing since 2016. So of course, I'm going through this upgrade.
Hmm.
And since asthma no longer serves the new Larry,
Hmm.
like it has to go through its detox again. So of course, like last Thursday, I woke up with like chest congestion and I was like, oh fuck. And I don't get sick.
Hmm.
Like the last time I was sick was probably 2016. right? So this is very unusual for me to go through this.
What
So
does
of
that
course,
mean spiritually though? If you're trying to up level yourself and then you're getting sick, is your body kind of testing you to be like, we're almost not allowing you to do the upgrade?
it's not a test. It's like we have to go in deep again,
Mm,
recreate the situation, but heal properly this time,
okay.
right?
So what does this mean in
So
practice? Like, are you only eating certain foods? Are you drinking like certain drinks to be able to actually detox? Or like, what does this mean?
yeah, so it's not a traditional detox.
Okay.
No. It's not like I have to eat like juices or
Yeah,
doing
yeah.
this. No, it's not one of those detoxes.
Okay.
It's like a let's recreate the situation so that your body can release.
Oh, and actually process the emotions and stuff.
Exactly, release the
Oh,
energy behind that created the asthma because it no longer serves you. So because I went through this upgrade, I have to go through it again, release it. I already released it, but release it and just let my body heal the way it was supposed to. Right.
huh.
So I know it's
This is
fascinating.
fascinating to me. Did we
I
both just say
know.
fascinating?
Yeah. It's fascinating, right? It's like, what the fuck is going on? I'm drinking lots of zinc. I mean, I do my tonic every morning
Yeah,
anyway, but now I'm kind of doing it like every 3 hours kind of
yeah. Okay.
thing.
What's in it?
Cat's claw, lemon balm. So would say for about a month now, I've been like very plant-based. I'm doing celery juice again in the morning
Nice.
and just like not eating anything. And the interesting thing is my body is like not craving anything crazy.
Of
Like my
course, because
body is
you're
like
getting tons of vitamins. And I find when I'm craving something, it's usually I'm really craving a dopamine hit. So if you're detoxing a
mhm.
bunch of stuff out of your body emotion wise, you're not really craving any dopamine as much anymore. So you're not trying to
No.
find that in food and drinks and things outside of yourself.
Yeah, exactly. And
Mm.
it's so funny. Like I wake up and I'm like, okay, like I feel like eating like papaya, and that's all I'm gonna eat
You're
today.
yeah, like you're
Like it's
more very in tune with what your body actually wants.
yes, I
Good.
am. So I'm listening to my body a little bit more during this detox. I want to heal properly this
Mm.
time. Because
Why?
I don't want to live with asthma, you know?
I know, but when you link it back to upgrading myself and leveling up, why do you think you need to go through this big detox in order to do that? Because you just feel there's so much like leftover bullshit that you got to get rid of all of that if you want to
Oh,
get to like another version and level of you.
100%.
Mm.
I mean, there's a lot of people that believe, including me, we're getting like woohoo now, that like chronic stuff,
Hmm.
cancers, they're all manifested through a negative emotion. So,
100%. Larry, I have so many episodes on this podcast about that.
right. So,
Multiple.
you know, yeah. So I've been trying to heal this whole asthma thing since 2016. I didn't realize it was like a deep rooted issue. And what's interesting is my asthma was connected with so many different emotions that like there's no way I could have done it like in a linear time. Like it's not like I could have
Yeah.
said, oh, today I'm gonna like release my anger and my asthma is gonna be gone. Like it didn't work that way. And
Mhm.
like the minute I just surrendered and I was like, okay, like these are my true intentions, like I just let my body do what it needed to do.
Mhm.
So for about a month, I've been like, body, tell me what you want and let's go.
Is there any like schedule or protocol where it's like, okay, this is the thing I do in the morning to really set up the day, or like this week I'm going to focus on where have I held on to bad relationships or bad work situations? Is there any kind of like schedule that you go on?
I don't plan anything through the mind.
Okay.
I wake up and I do a body meditation and I ask my body where it wants to go.
Okay. And
And
how
then
does
it
that
takes
look in
me.
practice? Like when you wake up in the morning, you
Yeah.
have the body meditation and say your body says, "Hey, you have some family trauma that you've never dealt with before." Like what do you do?
Yeah.
Like we work in real estate. We have 5 clients calling us So do you just jump into like solving this, or do you just make a note to be like, okay, this is what I'm going to focus on this week?
Oh, you do it in the morning.
Okay.
So before you're even distracted with
Yeah.
whatever's happening, you allow yourself to have a moment and you just let the body guide you. And I learned all of this just recently, by the way,
Yes, which we'll
through
chat.
my ayahuasca trick. So that's kind of like my flow that I'm integrating in my daily routine.
Okay. So it's
So I
almost like
wake
you a
up.
continued meditation. So really just in meditating, you're thinking about it, you're processing emotion. Are you writing about it? Like what are you doing?
Yeah, so I wake up in the morning. I don't, so I used to wake up and just check emails,
Of
social
course.
media, right? Like, and that was like a distraction for me in the morning. I don't do that at all anymore. I wake
Okay.
up in the morning and I'm like, okay, body, like, where do you want to take me? And I just let my body tell me where it wants. And usually, when you get into this meditative state, you feel a sensation in your body of where it wants to go and heal.
Mm.
Every meditation is different. Sometimes it's like, oh my God, I feel this like pain in my heel. Like, what is that all about? And sometimes it's like there's no narrative around it. Sometimes
Mm.
you just feel the pain, let it process and let it go. Right. So every morning is different. And part of my meditation in the morning is like, okay, what am I doing today? Like,
Mm.
what are my priorities today? What do you feel like eating today?
Mm.
I know it sounds crazy,
Doesn't
but
sound crazy to me. Maybe someone
I
that's
know
listening, but
I know it sounds crazy, but I I've sort of allowed my body to do this for now, just in this upgrading phase,
okay.
like up leveling phase. I will probably like not do my meditation like every day
Right.
because there's a certain point where you've up leveled or upgraded as much as you can for the
Mm.
time being. And I kind of want to enjoy it too, right?
Mm.
So
What sparked you to want to up level and upgrade? From an outside place looking in, someone might think you have a great life, you do well for yourself, you have great people around you, but in your mind when you looked at your current situation in your life, what kind of felt stale or stagnant to you?
So it's funny you say that because it turns out I've been upgrading for many, many, many years.
Mhm.
And you know, I'm pretty intuitive. And so these sort of intuitive messages come to me sporadically. It's like, okay, babes, like it's time for you to upgrade again
Okay.
and go in just a little bit deeper. So this time around, I kind of like I want to say like I started getting these messages in fall,
Okay.
and it was surrounding just, it was all in my triggers that were popping up in my life. And it was like, there has to be a way I can live without triggers, right? And I follow Eckhart Tolle, a lot, but I didn't really. When you listen to Eckhart Tolle, he's all about living in the present moment. When you get triggered, you know, don't don't create a narrative, just feel it. But I always felt like there was something missing to his teaching, so I wanted to learn what
Missing in terms is
I
it wasn't resonating as much as you would have liked?
yeah, like I
Okay.
would I would follow, do it, but the triggers were still there,
And you and I have talked about
right? So
triggers so much together.
yeah, yeah. So honestly, I can say right now, like I welcome all triggers because
Yeah.
that's an opportunity for me to heal and let it go. And
Mhm.
now that I have the magic, I guess, solution to let it go, or the foundation to let it go, it's like I feel like I'm unstoppable.
Mm. Whatever is going to come your way, you can handle it. And it's not going to rock you off course.
It's not the end of the world.
Yeah.
It's very interesting. And when I'm sort of in a transitional period in my upgrade. So the old
Meaning what? Meaning
programs,
what?
so you
Give me
know,
some specifics here.
this is all who woo woo again. But, you know, I believe that we are physical, like energetic beings, and we radiate from our energy field. Our frequencies attract everything that we're bringing in,
Mm,
right? So when you attract a trigger, it's because you're a magnet to that trigger,
mm,
right? So when you're in a transitional period, you're still going to get triggered because universe is like kind of confused
mm,
as to, you know, what is going on. Like you upgraded, but did you really upgrade? Like, did you mean to upgrade? Was it a mistake?
mm.
Right. So I call these universal tasks that come in. And it's also really great for you to get triggered, but then like get triggered from an old program that you were running. So just for me to validate, like, oh shit, like that old trigger didn't actually trigger me. And
Mm.
that feeling is the most amazing feeling because you that is a sign that you've already upgraded to like a better version of yourself, right?
It
And that's the
feels so
goal.
good when you recognize what
That
used to really piss you off and anger you and almost ruin your day now doesn't even bother you anymore.
it doesn't bother you. And when you look at that, it's like validation, like, fuck, yes, I've upgraded out of
Mhm.
this energy field. And this is just temporary,
Mm,
right? So I'm getting a lot of those tests right now because
okay.
I've recently upgraded. And I'm still getting triggered a little bit, but it's not as like crazy as intense as it
Yeah.
was before. And now that I get triggered a little bit, and I'll tell you the most recent trigger happened last night. I put in a deal, and these are clients that I love. And you know, I started changing my workflow process last
Mhm.
year with me working with clients that only brought me joy, right?
Yep.
If you didn't bring me joy, it wasn't going to work out. So I've already accidentally upgraded
Mhm.
that like last year, right? So I love my clients, great credentials, you know, they're just amazing people. And she calls me and she's like, I got cold feet. Like I wanted to back out. And I was a little triggered. I was a little
Why?
triggered by it.
Like, what did it bring up for you? Did you feel like, okay, if she's getting cold
I'm gonna
feet,
be
maybe I didn't do my job well enough? Like, what did it bring up?
no, nope. It brought up self-worth
Okay.
and it brought up scarcity with money.
Mm. Why?
I'm gonna be real. I'm gonna be real with you. You know, because we work in a commission-based business. So if somebody is pulling out of a deal, that means I'm losing my commission.
Yeah.
Right away, it was scarcity around money.
And especially coming
And
back after a long vacation, you're like, I need to close this deal.
attached to the self-worth, right?
Those usually go hand in hand. For anyone who's ambitious career wise, those usually go hand in hand.
Yeah.
Our work is our worth.
So let me tell you when. I quickly fell into, okay, where am I feeling this in my body? Because I need to release this. I'm done with this program. I don't want it anymore. It was this huge, I felt like I was getting choked, Janelle. Choked.
And
I
not in a good
couldn't
way.
breathe. Not in a good way. I couldn't breathe. And then I was like, okay, right? Like let it burn, let it burn, let it burn. And every time this sensation in your body, like anytime there's a sensation like this in your body, like the way that I do it now is I let it burn and then it turns into ashes and then it goes away.
Mm.
She called me 2 hours later and was like, sorry, we're good to go.
Did you even respond to her like the 2 hours prior to that?
I did not.
Larry, that's one of my favorite things ever. Not responding and giving it a couple hours. Like it's pretty normal that we could be busy for a couple hours. And then all of a sudden it all sorts itself out. And you didn't have to
Yeah.
have this back and forth at all.
Well, she called me. She called me to tell me that she was getting cold feet. And my reaction before would have been like trying to convince her,
Yes.
right? And that was the biggest takeaway for me. There was no convincing. It was like, okay, I understand, I understand you're getting cold feet. I need to let them know sooner than later. Can I give you an hour to maybe
Yeah.
process and think about it
Yeah.
and
Because
let
if
me
we go
know?
back to them and
Because it's
say we're
not
pulling
fair
out,
to
we can't
them.
go back again.
Yeah, like I was like, that's not fair to the other party. So
Yeah.
just let me know. I hung up that phone, did my thing, right? And 2 hours later, she took like an hour and a half, maybe 2 hours. And she was like, oh my God, I'm so sorry. Like, we're going to proceed.
So let's talk about the energetics of that for a second. When she called you, I bet her expectation was you going to convince her to not get out of this deal. She probably was already ready to have the 10 reasons why she wanted to. She was probably already coming in on the defense.
Right.
And as soon as you had your reaction of saying, hey, like kind of it is what it is, like before you make a final decision, take another couple hours before I go back. We still have a bit of time before you can still pull out. I bet you any money she
Exactly.
was not expecting that kind of reaction. And so then she went back, was pretty level headed about it, and thought to herself, okay, maybe we don't want to. And then she comes back and literally nothing really changed.
Nothing changed
And it's all
except my trigger.
energetics.
Except my trigger.
Yeah.
But it was
Well,
great. As I mentioned, I welcome all triggers because
yeah,
I don't want
you need
it.
to start processing it. You need to be
I'm done.
tested with them.
Yeah, exactly.
It's so
Exactly.
funny when I think about like my experiences and I think about like, oh, okay, I'm in a good spot. My head is good. I'm healed. And it's really just I haven't been having any triggers or tests recently. And then one of the classic triggers or tests comes up and I realize, oh, I'm not healed at all. I haven't made any
No,
progress. And we all have them.
no.
Like that's why people say like there's some people in your life that can always push your damn buttons. We all have those people and we all have those very familiar scenarios that it gets us every time. And
Yeah.
it
Yeah.
does link back to a lot of the time self-worth and insecurities and scarcity and we all have them.
Yeah. Well, those are all traumatic experiences that let me explain to you what happens. So we all have traumatic experiences that turn into negative emotions.
Mm,
When we're children, even as adults, we don't know how to process these emotions, so they get stuck in our energetic field.
mhm.
And because they're stuck, we just keep creating all of these layers and layers and layers of these negative energy that is radiating to the universe and is like telling universe to bring you more of that bullshit.
Mm,
And in order for you to release yourself from the bullshit that universe brings you is to you know go back in time and reprocess those emotions.
yeah.
And that is like kind of my biggest takeaway from ayahuasca. But yeah.
Let's jump into that. Both you and I went on long extended trips over the past month. Both you and I both took a lot of time off from work. And I think we can both say it was much needed. When you went on your trip, you did ayahuasca. And there's going to be very few people listening that know what ayahuasca is. And for me, I still only really know a little bit about it. So if you want to tell people, first of all, what ayahuasca is, and second of all, why you decided to do it, why this time.
Yeah. So ayahuasca has been around for years. It's a plant from Peru.
Mhm.
And everyone, like I've spoken to so many people that have done ayahuasca. And I didn't initially want to do ayahuasca because I'm pretty intuitive and
Mhm.
psychic. And I've been sort of healing through my own journey through like those tools. But as I said, like fall, I was guided to like actually do ayahuasca
Why do you think?
because, well, they told me, my spirit guides, they told me that ayahuasca was a different kind of healing, deep rooted kind of healing that would help me upgrade to where I needed to upgrade to, which is,
Okay.
a better version of myself. So, even before my trip, there was like 3 people that I randomly met that were planning to do ayahuasca or had
Mm.
just done ayahuasca. So it was like universe kind of like, you
Yes.
know, as a sign, I have to explore this. I didn't really know much about ayahuasca either, except that it's a tree root from Peru, and you use this, you drink it for healing purposes. So everyone has different experiences with ayahuasca. It just depends on, obviously your where you are in your journey. And so the reason why I did it was because, humans often don't change unless shit hits the fan,
Of
where
course.
you've had enough.
We don't do preventative upgrading.
No, no.
Our life
Um,
falls apart, and then we finally look in the mirror and be like, where did I go wrong here?
yeah. So, I've been dealing with scarcity around money for many years. And it doesn't mean that I don't make money, because
That's what I'm saying. You do really well.
it's never been an issue, even in the fashion industry. It's never been an issue. It's like certain situations that I get triggered, like way too often for me, my debit card or my credit card gets declined for some
Oh, and you take
technical
it so
issues.
personally.
And it's like, right? And it's like, that's the most stupidest thing ever. But there's no logic behind it, right?
Mhm.
And that's where you start learning that it's all internal, right?
Of course.
So I literally was like, I'm done. I'm done with this fucking bullshit. Like, I don't want to live a life in scarcity. I don't want to live a life, because we work in a commission-based business, right? I don't want to live a life where I'm like, where's my next deal coming from? What is like, and I was at that point where I was like, I'm done. There has to be a better way.
Mhm.
So then all this like ayahuasca stuff coming into my field, and I was like,
Yeah.
interesting. Okay, let's do
And for
it.
people
Right?
listening, like if there's something that's on your mind, for example, Larry was thinking like, oh, maybe ayahuasca is something that I want to do. And then he kept meeting people that kept doing ayahuasca or was interested in ayahuasca. So like Larry's saying, it's like it kept coming into my field of conscious, like it was around me. It's really the universe telling you like, maybe this is something that like you should think about or you should go do.
Exactly. And never before I had even heard of ayahuasca,
Yeah.
right? I probably heard of someone doing it 2 years ago.
Mhm.
And I was like, oh, that's cool, whatever. That was it,
And none of
right?
it's
But
ever
then it was like,
coincidence. Like there's a reason
that's
why you keep hearing about it.
that was exactly it. So I was like, okay, fuck it. Let's go in deep and do it. I was going to do it in Paraguay
Yeah.
because I was going to visit a friend and then kill two birds with one stone. And, I was in LA during Christmas,
Mhm.
and a friend I haven't even spoken to, I swear, like maybe 5 or 6 years,
Mhm.
just randomly commented on my stories. When you say like nothing is coincidental,
Nothing.
like nothing, so crazy. And I'm like, oh my God, like I haven't, what is going on? Happy birthday.
Mhm.
Like what's going on? And then we started catching up a little bit. And she lives in Guatemala. I used to live in Guatemala I lived in Guatemala for a year in 2006. And
Mhm.
that's where we met. So that was that. And then I went to Sedona, whatever. And then we kept in touch. And I was supposed to go to Colombia first and then Paraguay. My Colombian trip fell apart.
Okay.
I don't want to go into details on that, but it was supposed to happen.
That's a separate conversation for when we go for lunch.
Yeah, exactly. And so I was just like, hey, I'm not doing Colombia anymore. Like, can I come visit you? And she was like, oh my God, of course. So she lives in a beautiful part of Guatemala. I mean, Guatemala is beautiful, but she used to live in Antigua. She no longer lives there. She lives in another part, which is like a little town that's surrounded by a lake that was created by like a volcanic rock. Like it was just
Yeah.
amazing. So I went to visit her, and the first day she's like, "What's your plan? What's your trip?" And I was telling her I was going to do ayahuasca. Well, it turns out she knows a guy for like 20 plus years
Mhm.
that does ayahuasca and has a retreat just outside of Antigua. Of course, of
It's
course.
almost too easy. that this is
Yeah.
happening. And that's why you need to
I was
trust
like,
that it's the right path.
you gotta be kidding me right now. And
Mm.
she and I did not talk about ayahuasca before my trip.
Oh, okay. Like you didn't
Because she
say,
was
hey, I
like,
was supposed
okay,
to do
like,
ayahuasca, but I guess I'm not doing it anymore.
nope, nope,
How funny is that?
no, she didn't know. Because my plan was to go to Guatemala, hang out with her for a bit, because it was gonna replace my Colombian trip. But
Right.
I was still going to Paraguay. You see?
Yeah.
So when I got there, she's like, yeah, my God, he's like Peruvian, but he lives in Guatemala now. He's like a great retreat. And I was like, what?
Wow.
I was like, you gotta be kidding me. So I got the contact and I started chatting with the shaman, and I really resonated with everything he was saying and his healing techniques. And I was like, you know what? Like, I'm just gonna stay in Guatemala and do it here, right?
Mm.
So canceled everything from Paraguay,
Wow.
and yeah, and I ended up staying in Guatemala for a total of 3 weeks.
How
Mind
long
blowing.
is ayahuasca? Is it 7 days straight?
So you could pick your own. You could pick your
Okay.
own program. I committed to a week.
Okay.
And so, as I mentioned, when you do ayahuasca, like you can't do it every day. I thought I was going to do it every day. Like I was like, I'll do it every day, right? And I got there and the shaman's like, Larry, no,
No,
there's no every day. There's no every day. Like you trust me. And he was right. My first day after, I was
I need a rest day.
like I can't do this all over again. No fucking way.
Okay, so
No
let's
fucking
get
way.
into specifics. How long of a day is it? What's happening? All I know about ayahuasca is like you drink some poisonous drink and then you just start throwing up everything. Like, that's all I know about ayahuasca.
Is it really poisonous?
Yes. That's
Oh,
why you
that's
throw
so
up.
funny. Well, you don't always throw
Didn't
up.
you have to sign a waiver?
No, I didn't.
That's
You don't
concerning.
you don't always have to throw up.
Yeah, so walk us
I
through.
mean
Like, I
the
don't know much
shaman
about
knows
it.
what he's doing. The
Okay.
shaman knows what he's doing.
Do
So
you tell the
so
shaman like
Iowa,
kind of what you want to cover or anything like that? Or
you
you just
do, yeah.
oh, okay.
So here's the thing with ayahuasca, because okay, so ayahuasca is a living thing. It's a plant, and it's plant medicine. So when ayahuasca is in you, it's like working in you. And I'll get to that in a bit. So yeah, so the first day I got there was one other person. They were going to do ayahuasca for one more night. I got there, didn't really do anything the first night. I mean, I got there at like 4 p.m. So it was like a welcome to the
Yep.
retreat. Like, let's talk about your goals and what you're gonna do. And everybody that is like thinking about ayahuasca or has spoken to people with ayahuasca, you go with an intention of what you want to do, but ayahuasca will prioritize and do its own thing, whether you like it or not, right?
Mm.
um
What was your intention?
Scarcity over money.
Okay. That was the big goal that you wanted to like just
Mhm.
shift your mindset around, shift your frequency
it,
and
w-
mindset.
it has nothing to do with mindset, babes. I
Okay.
needed to get rid of this fucking energy out of my body.
Okay.
Out of my body. So when we talk about mindset, and I will tell you about mindset because I practice mindset,
And this is a whole
and it worked
different
for,
ball game.
mindset worked for a little bit, but because you still hold on to those energetic blocks,
Yeah.
it's temporary. Mindset is temporary. So a mindset only works when you've healed the body and then it's connected to the mind, and it's magic when that fucking happens.
Okay.
You set your intention, and it's like my mind right now is I'm getting dizzy right now because it's like I'm just talking about it going through a shift.
Mhm.
When you release all of this like yucky stuff is when you can play into mindset, because like I can't explain it. When you come out of this, you don't feel the way you felt. So your mindset is different. It's like you can, when people do mindset, it's like you're convincing yourself
Yes.
that it's real. But
Mm.
your body is like, uh-uh, uh-uh, no, 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 no. And this is why, I'm going to be honest. Last year, I spent a lot of time doing mindset, and it would work. And then I would stop my affirmations, and then it would stop. Why? Because I still
It's
had this
almost like a
negative shit.
placebo.
It is still this negative shit in me, right?
Yeah.
And and the other thing why I did ayahuasca is because I want to be an autopilot, babe. I
Yeah.
want to be an autopilot. I'm done with affirmations. I mean, they're great,
When you need
but
them.
it's just
Yeah.
temporary. I want my mind, body, and soul to be connected, like for real,
And completely
right?
like reinvented.
And just run on autopilot. So if I say I'm going to do this, the universe will support it, and
Right.
it'll support it and allow for it to happen. Because guess what? I don't run those programs anymore,
Mm-hmm.
right?
So
Oh, it's
during the 7 days, like I said, I've heard about ayahuasca and people throwing up and people just crying, and it's a really draining experience.
yeah. Okay, so do you want me to talk about each day?
Yeah.
Because it's amazing. So my first day, obviously, I didn't have any expectations, and so when ayahuasca happens in the evening, so usually
Okay.
like 9 p.m.,
Okay.
9 p.m. to 10 p.m. And the reason why you do it in the evening because it's dark and you need to be in a sort of like calm, meditative space.
Yeah.
And it works better that way to be in that environment, right? And you also don't want to like see other people puking. So you drink ayahuasca in doses because the shaman doesn't really know you yet and wants to
Mm-hmm.
understand your level of tolerance. So we each
Mm-hmm.
take one dose and we let the ayahuasca, which people call the grandmother, right, to enter our bodies and do its thing. And, you know, for me, in my experience, I drank the one dose. And for an hour, I wasn't really feeling anything, but I was feeling it. The best I can explain with ayahuasca is like there's a lot of like you feel her in your veins, like you're vibrating, like
Wow.
there's high frequency in your body that you're feeling. And so nothing was happening. So the shaman drinks as well because their job is to facilitate your healing process. So with you guys sharing the ayahuasca, he's able to tap into what you need, right?
So why
So,
isn't he like going through all of the emotions and the detoxing, the puking?
oh, he's already done his journey.
Okay.
Like you can't do this without with having like emotional stuff in your body.
Okay.
Like to become a shaman, like you have to be clean.
Okay.
So he lives obviously like a very plant-based diet kind of
Yeah. Yeah.
thing. So, you know, shamans kind of like will throw up, but it's like they're also releasing some of our shit because they're
Totally.
like
Because
able
they're
to,
taking it on.
yeah,
Yeah.
they're taking it on, right? And the music that they sing to you is like they're singing to ayahuasca. It's such a beautiful experience, but it's also like not the greatest, in terms of like going through the process. But
Yeah.
my first night, so I had the one dose, nothing happened. He was like, okay, you need another dose. And I was like, okay, I had another dose. And, 45 minutes later, of course, the effects started happening. And, I was very committed to this because as I said, I want to be an autopilot, right?
Mm-hmm.
So, 45 minutes later, I'm like, oh my God, I feel like throwing up. And sure enough, I threw up. And I was throwing up for a good like 3 to 5 minutes.
Wow. I
Um,
hate throwing up. You've been around me while throwing up. And oh my God,
I
I
know.
don't want to be doing that. So it's
I hate throwing up as well, but it needed to come out. And I'm going to tell you what's interesting is my body was shaking like this while I was throwing up. The noises that were coming out of me, Jenelle, were
I can only imagine.
unfucking real. It was like
Wow.
monstrous. Like I was like, who are you? Right? And it wasn't
It's an
you.
exorcism.
It's an exorcism.
It
Yeah.
is.
Yeah, exactly. And
It's what they do in religious
I,
cults, Larry.
it was just like so crazy to me. But the emotion behind it, like I
Yeah.
felt the resentment, the guilt, the anger
Mm.
coming out of me, right? And then that was done. And the shaman was like singing, right? Doing his thing. And then, of course, 30 minutes later, I have to run to the washroom.
It's all coming out.
It's all coming out, right? And then you're back lying down. And this process happened 3 times, not all at once.
Yeah. So every second day almost.
No, no, no. No, no, no. My first night, I vomited, went to the bathroom 3 times that night.
Ooh, wow.
Yeah. By the end of it, my rib cage was like, they were so sore.
Yeah.
My back was in pain. But I'm gonna tell you, during the process of me barfing and throwing up, and of course, I mean, I can share with you the narrative because it took me to, it was so interesting. So right before I threw up, they took me to my childhood of where the trauma happened,
Mm.
where it was trapped, and they're like, okay, you're ready to let go. And
Mm.
I felt nauseous and it was like, bleh, right? So I kind of almost, I sound effects, I kind of almost like knew when it was coming, right?
Yeah.
And it was such a beautiful process to release the trauma where my spiritual guides and ayahuasca took me, right? There was a moment, I don't know if it was my second barf or my third barf, where all I could hear was Britney Spears and her Gimme Gimme More song. Like, gimme more. Like,
Yeah.
I want more. I want to release all of this shit, right?
Like, even though it feels horrible, you feel the aftermath of, wow, I feel very released and a little bit more healed.
Yeah,
So you're like, yeah, let's go
yeah,
again.
exactly. And it wasn't like you were throwing up food,
Right.
right? You were like throwing up like yucky shit.
Gross.
That's the most interesting part, right? That was day 1. It was like release, release, release.
Okay.
Yeah. So the second day, I didn't barf or shit at all.
Okay.
It was a very peaceful,
Were
it
you
was a very
making those like animalistic noises or crying or anything like that?
nope.
Oh, okay.
It was a very 5th dimensional release. And the
Okay.
second time I took it, ayahuasca and I had a connection. She was like, already off the bat, was like, babe, you're not gonna throw up or barf. We're gonna do some DNA restructuring.
Okay.
And we're going in deep on a cellular level, right?
Okay.
So I do want to say that an implant was removed from that program of scarcity from my lower
What do
back.
you mean?
As their spiritual implant was removed, surgically removed.
Spiritually?
Yeah, yeah.
Like
It was insane.
you almost feel like something's been removed from your body or like released
Yeah,
or a weight taken
yeah.
off.
I saw the whole thing. I
Okay.
saw the whole thing, right? And they were like, we're gonna work on the 5th dimension to release this program.
And what do
And
you
they
mean by
did.
5th dimension? Like from a spiritual level, energy level?
So 5th dimension is where the Akashic records live.
What
The
does that
4th
mean?
dimension is all in the, oh my God. We need another
I
conversation.
if I'm not an expert on this, people listening are
Yeah.
not experts on this.
So let's just say the 5th dimension is where knowledge exists. Infinite knowledge exists.
Okay.
And if you're running programs in the 5th dimension, they're always going to be connected to your, let's just say, your energy field, right?
Okay.
So that's why they had to remove this program, right? That I placed on myself subconsciously, right?
Yeah.
So it was amazing. They were like, turn around. And I turned around and I saw them remove this fucking implant. And I was like, what the fuck is happening here? And It's like you often hear ayahuasca stories where like they see like geometric patterns or
Yeah.
they feel like more connected with everyone, right? But it's like my experience was very different. Like I kind of already know everyone's connected, energy's connected, da 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 da. But ayahuasca was like, no, we're ready. You're ready. Let's go. And then day three, oh, holy shit. Day
What?
three, day three was releasing the energetic blocks or the energy behind all of this, like everything related to money. And it was 5 hours of what I'm
Holy
going to tell
crap.
you. They took me to my heart, and all of this was painful. My heart, my groin, my back just kept shifting back and forth. The the biggest releases were from my stomach. Oh my god. I felt like I was going into labor. I don't know what it feels like,
But you assume
but
that's probably what
these
it feels like.
I assume this is what it feels like. I was going through the most painful contractions in my stomach. And it was like, once I was like, okay, let's go, it was like all like in my head, like all of these contractions lined up, one after the other. It was like
Right.
I was screaming at the top of my lungs. Like that's how painful this was. And I was like, where is this energy going? Like I'm
Mhm.
I'm processing and releasing, but where is it going? And they're like, Larry, we have an energetic pocket that we're putting all of this in. When we're finished with our work here, they're going to release the waste at the
Okay.
end. And that's exactly what happened. All the energy was like anger, guilt. It's all the same thing, right?
Yeah.
It was 5 hours. And I was like, holy shit, this is painful, right? But I didn't vomit. It
Okay,
was just that
good.
little, it was just that little bit at the end.
Right.
And yeah, I slept peacefully after that.
So let me ask you this. What do you notice differently in your life? Now you're back in Toronto, you're not in Guatemala anymore. Ayahuasca is done. When you landed back in Toronto, now you're back in your day-to-day life. What's different?
Okay. I love to do frequency tests. So when I was on a plane, you know how airlines have these group assignments? Like group 3 ready to board, right?
Yeah.
Well, I was in group 7. I was like, I'm gonna test my frequency. So I lined up with group 3. And of course, the ticketing agent was like, oh, you're in group 5, stand over there. Oh, you're in group 6, stand over there. Right. And I was like, holy shit, I'm totally gonna get caught. By the time I go up, she's like, welcome aboard, Mr. Medina. I was like, what the fuck just happened?
So
I've seen this like
what's happening in your mind to make that a different experience for you as opposed to someone else? It's an energy thing, you think?
it's all energy.
Yeah.
All
Like so she's
right
getting such good
now,
vibes from you that she's thinking like I'm not going to send him back. I like him. Go on, who cares?
I don't know what it was. I don't
Yeah.
know. I can't explain it. And I'm gonna tell you right now, humans live off their minds. We need to get the fuck out of our minds and just like do what we need to do
Tell me
because
about it.
I'm serious and I'm guilty of it 100%.
Mhm.
I'm inspired to do something and the mind's like, you're not gonna do it. How are you gonna do it? Right? Like I am feeling the biggest breakthrough for me is I'm feeling the triggers are less, right? I'm not triggered that easily. My self-worth is unreal. I just
Good.
had a listing presentation this morning over the phone,
Went amazing.
and I just had a gut feeling that she was looking for a like 1% agent, right? And I kind of said to her,
If this
I'm
is not the
okay that
biggest test that you could possibly get this morning on every
exactly
level.
every level. And I said to her, here's my value proposition. I think the conversation needs to end here if, you're not willing to pay 5% commission, which is shared by the co-op agent. That's just my workflow. And I'm 100% okay if you decide to work with another agent.
Mhm.
Like, I was very direct and clear
You weren't
about
in the
it.
business of convincing. You're like, this is what I
There
offer.
was,
If you want something different, totally.
yeah. If that's not your vibe, that we're probably not shouldn't be working together.
I
Like,
agree.
I
And
want to work
you
with
can
people.
dumb it down as simply as, do you want $100 bottle of wine or do you want a $10 bottle of wine? That's totally your
Yeah,
call.
yeah.
There's different levels for a reason.
It's just fascinating, the
Mhm.
shift, the energetic shift that I've already seen. And I'm going to tell you the biggest takeaway that I now look at money and have my relationship with money is I am just so happy to spend money because there's no, this is honest,
Yeah,
like I'm not lying about this. There is a connection with universe where I feel like it's just going to replace it.
of course.
I don't know how, I don't know where, but there's like a constant flow. There's a constant flow. And the mindset I changed with me spending money came from, they like what she showed me was so beautiful, like we pay for groceries, but like the people behind the work that was done to get those groceries in this grocery store is unreal.
Yeah.
And I'm like scared to pay for a salary. Like, take my money, babes. Like,
Yeah. Like, I'm
take
so
it.
happy to have this. Yeah.
I'm so happy to have this. I'm going to a restaurant, it's like the people behind to even manifest this place, to
Mhm.
make it even like a place where people can come in and enjoy their food. Like, $20? Are you kidding me? Take my money. Like,
Of course.
I'm not even kidding. It's coming from such an amazing place for me now. Whereas before it would be like $20 for a fucking omelet. Are you fucking kidding me?
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
now
Huh.
that is scarcity
That
mind
energy,
thinking.
even just the feeling of how you say that, there's a huge difference.
Huge. So I'm honestly looking forward to my journey after my detox.
How much longer
And
is this detox for?
oh, hopefully Sunday.
That's good.
I'm at the end of it. You should have heard me like Sunday, Monday, Tuesday. I
Right.
was coughing up a lung.
Wow.
Like, it was disgusting. So I feel a lot better today. But hopefully by Sunday it's done. And then I'm just gonna go. I'm gonna make shit happen.
Well, duh. Like, I can feel a difference. So where do you go from here? Take it day by day.
Take it day by day, listen to my body, obviously, but because I trust universe. And I know this is crazy to say, but part of my goal is to work 20 hours a week so that I can focus on like me time, but also on
Mhm.
other creative projects. And
This is the year to do it.
this is the year to do it.
Like, I don't think your income will be affected. And I think that's going to be the craziest thing to notice by the end of the year.
I know.
I think it's going to be
I
shocking.
know. I know. I know. There was a situation that happened to me in January before ayahuasca
Right.
where I was working with a buyer client and they ended up purchasing with a listing agent.
I'm
Yeah.
so sorry for you. That's
Oh,
fucked.
it's okay. It's
I
okay
know, but
because
it's still annoying and awful.
it's annoying. Yeah. It triggered me a little bit.
I'm triggered for you.
I know, right? It triggered, right? And I was like, this is what I'm saying. This is what I'm saying. I reached a point where I was like, I'm done with this bullshit. I am a magnet for what I'm attracting. And I'm done. I don't want that shit in my life anymore. I don't want it.
Yeah.
Right?
The right clients for
Um,
you and the right ones that are for this period of your life wouldn't even think to do that.
exactly. Right. And what kills me is that they were out of the GTA. So I had to purchase a 3-month membership for $400 that I never even used.
And when you think back, shouldn't even have taken on that client, right?
Uh, when I think back, I don't know. I don't
Learning, a
know.
learning opportunity.
Yeah. When I think back, it was a trigger point for me that I needed to heal. It was the
Yeah.
last, it was like universe was probably like, are you sure you want to do ayahuasca? And that happened like a week before ayahuasca.
Yeah,
And I was
fuck.
like, I'm fucking ready for this shit. So
Let's go.
when I went to ayahuasca, that's why I was like, throw up. I don't give a fuck. I
Let it all
surrender.
come out.
Ayahuasca, do your thing. I'm done. I'm done with clients not treating me with value, you know? So yeah, I don't have, I mean, those are the kind of the only stories I have for you now, but I'm sure
We'll
we'll be
talk.
in
We'll
touch. I
talk.
can't wait.
I think this is a great conversation for everyone to hear because, again, we're still at the beginning of a new year. We're only in month 2 of 2023. And there are so many triggers that come up for you throughout your days, throughout your weeks. And I think a lot of people beat themselves up when they react to those triggers. But I think a lot of people need to see those triggers as, like you said, opportunities to heal, to grow, to recognize in yourself where there's still growth to be done, and
Yeah.
and be willing and excited for those triggers to happen. I know there's still lots for me to come up. There hasn't been as many lately because I've been a little tunnel vision with my work schedule and life schedule lately, and
Yeah.
I've been spending a lot of time alone.
Yeah.
But this conversation reminded me the purpose of triggers. So thank you.
Oh, you're welcome. You're welcome. Yeah. You will, it's okay too to not have triggers in a certain point because that just means you're on your version of autopilot right
Yeah.
now. Trust me, like triggers will come on hard when
Mhm.
it's like you're ready to upgrade. And
It's
was
like you don't
my
want them, but like if you want to upgrade, like you kind
you
of want to bring them on.
yeah, exactly. Exactly. I
Okay.
love it.
Well, cheers to this conversation. Thank you so much. And
Cheers.
like I said, I'm excited to either see you next week or the week after in person.
Yeah, for sure, for sure. Let's plan.